these are my thoughts on black women and hair and African Americans, black Africans, Negroids, Negroes. We need to pick one single name. Anyway, black people, my thoughts on the whole hair issue in general. Of course, in the early years in this country, the black people who did, straighten their hair, put the cream in it, whatever they called it. Uh, I'm not sure if all of them were what I would call self-hating. I do believe all of them were trying to conform and trying to make white people like them or look at them more respectable because nappy hair, especially back then, was probably made out to be so backwards or second class, third world country ish that they wanted to make themselves look like they could play or be equal alongside of white people. So of course they straightened their hair. I'm not. I know at least I can at least say half of them, or I know some of them were at least self-hating, but I'm not sure if all of them were exactly self-hating because I mean many of some of our most prominent pro black speakers, a lot of them came out of the 20s and 30s. A lot of our when the Black Renaissance started, a lot of those guys back then they straightened their hair. They had the whole slick back thing going on. So did the women, of course, straightening their hair. I think they were just trying to show, they're trying to find ways to show white people, hey, we're just smart and intelligent that you are. And I guess the hair thing, they thought it made them look too barbaric, and so they, straightened their hair. So I don't want to criticize the ancestors of the past too much, though it's because of that we have some of the issues today. It still is white people's fault, but I don't want to criticize them too much because I don't believe all of them were self-hating like like many people are today. And then of course you get to like the 60s and the 70s. You have that huge black and proud of it movement. You have the afros coming out and whatnot. Of course, I'm pretty sure there are many black people before this era that had their afros or their non-bleached hair and whatnot. But I'm just saying, it really became like a popular thing in popular culture to see pro-black people. Of course, the civil rights movement and all that kind of stuff also pushed that as well. And then now, of course, you have a mixture. You'll see some people with straight hair, some black people with blonde hair, some people with afros and whatnot. Now, of course, some of these people are self-hating people who do this stuff to themselves. They'll probably do it in many other areas, such as bleaching skin and whatnot. But I'm I'm having a few thoughts on it. I'm not sure if every single person that straightens their hair is a self-hating black person. And I personally don't see anything wrong with a black female who uses a hot comb and straightens her hair every now and then. I don't. It doesn't bother me. I actually prefer that than them putting that acid in their hair and burning their skin. I mean, the, it's almost symbolic in a way. The acid burning the skin so you could make yourself appear to be more white. But anyway, I don't necessarily want to say that the women that do all these things, all of them hate or are not proud of being black. I think many of them are actually very proud of being black, though they might just be unaware of some of the stigmatisms and history and social issues surrounding, the coloring of your hair and whatnot. But I'm kind of at a crossroads again at this point because in Africa, I mean, the Maasai tribe, they put red henna in their hair. That's a cultural thing for them. And if you know anything about Africa, Africans are very diverse when it comes to their hairstyle. I mean, you had black women who would shave their hair. I mean, I don't even know how many different types of braid weave hairstyles there are in half of Africa alone, let alone across the all African people around the globe. They're just that creative when it comes to their hair, and the men as well. So, I mean, as far as the coloring thing, I think it really comes down to the person's conscience. Because if a, if I'm with a woman and she's very pro black and whatnot, and she happens to I don't know put a light brown color in her hair, I'm not gonna be turned away completely from her. Of course, I will find it ridiculous if she put blue or green in her hair But then again, I'd find any woman who put blue and green and pink and all that kind of stuff in her hair on a regular basis, I'd kind of steer away from them. But I mean, if I meet a woman who straightens her hair on, a regular basis, not the acid bleaching burning stuff, but a hot comb, I'm gonna straighten my hair for XYZ reasons, and she does it, and she's the most, very proud of her culture and all that good stuff. I'm not going to see a problem with that. However, and I'm glad I'm seeing it on YouTube. I'm very happy that there's a strong push for black people to go back natural and put braids in their hair and the little cute afro puffs that they put up. Um, I think it's the user Amaryllis. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's very attractive black woman, and has all kinds of styles that she does, and she looks very attractive in all of them. So again, I'm not gonna complete. Just I'm more worried about the mentality of the person first, because also some of the most coonified Negroes that I know, they'll have an afro and cornrows with beads in it and half rows and all kinds of other ridiculous hairstyles that I would never use. And I guess according to the quote unquote hair standard, they would be proud of their blackness, but really none of those guys really are. They're just copying what they see on TV, which I guess is a good reinforcement in itself. It's good to see, someone famous wearing their hair naturally and whatnot. But that doesn't necessarily make them conscious about, who they are, because some of the traitors, most traitorous people among us, will have the nicest afro and be married to a white guy, So I personally believe if black women themselves personally push the agenda with the current generation and the next one coming to be natural with your hair, put braids, afros, and whatnot, and when that's all the males that grow up when they see that and they're attracted, obviously they're going to be attracted to them when they see that. They're not going to desire black women with nonsense like blonde hair or piss yellow hair or blue and green weaves and all that nonsense. They're going to be attracted to what they commonly saw growing up, and the women that they found attractive, if they commonly had hairstyles like this, then they're going to be attracted to that, and none of you black women will have to worry about, oh, I have to straighten my hair, because they grew up around seeing that. Just like in Africa, they're attracted to what they grew up with and see. I mean, it's just natural. It's a natural way of things. So I think if black women push that, it'll be good for their agenda in getting rid of this blonde, dyeing your hair blonde and perming your hair and whatnot. I just the perm thing I can't stand. I loved in the Malcolm X movie. It was so symbolic of him not doing that, because he literally had to scar himself so he could make his hair, give himself good quote good hair, straight hair like a white person. He had to scar himself. So I think personally for me at this point it comes down to the woman's consciousness, because I'd rather be around or with a woman who might have dyed her hair blonde, God forbid, but if she's the most pro-black person, then she can ride with me. But if she has, afro braids and whatnot, and she's talking about how, well, I'm proud of being black, but I'm only attracted to white men or Hispanic men or Asian men, okay, then we have a problem. And you see, that is my issue. I'm worried more about the mentality of the consciousness of the female before we even get into the other aspects. I wonder what the mentality of Sammy Sosa was before he bleached himself white. But those are just a few thoughts of mine on that issue. Shout out to Amaryllis. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She has a huge selection of natural videos that every female most definitely should watch. I try to watch them every now and then. Most of the time I'm just checking her out, but that's what I'm supposed to do because I'm a black male. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the issue. I'm curious of anyone else's thoughts on the issue. Post video response, I like those the most, or just leave a comment.